I've had the opportunity to follow different ones, different leaders and different ministers and missionaries, and just to have the opportunity to read upon some of their teachings and some of the things that have they have written in different books. And I just been finding myself reading and studying more. I'm just trying to help to build myself up and to understand the purpose and the plan that God has for me. And I get on here to share what God has given me in expectation that it can help somebody else understand their vision, their purpose of what God has given them. As I've been studying, I want to call this man the late Miles Monroe, the late Pastor Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe. Um, he was a great teacher, and still, when I say was a great teacher, he still is a great teacher. He may not be with us on earth, but he's left such a legacy, such a word uh, of teaching, and his vision was so real that it's still, even though he's not with us, he's his teaching is still with us. His vision is still building and still growing. Um, and I say that to say what I've learned from him and still learning is whatever God gives us to do, the vision, the purpose, the plan that he gives for each one of us, it has to be something that's for the benefit of others, not just for ourselves, but for the benefit of others, to encourage others, to influence somebody else, to help somebody else to grow. And just by following him, it just been bringing some enlightenment to me that, wow, this man is no longer here on earth, but he has left such a legacy. He has left so much learning, so much word there for us, here for us, those that want to follow, that it just help you to understand and see and to really um, evaluate yourself and to think to yourself, what am I leaving? If I was to leave here today or tomorrow with the vision that I have, continue to move on, who am I influencing? Who am I helping along the way? You know, we all are here not just to be stagnant, not to just sit still, not to just live day by day, you know, go, going to a job, coming home, watching TV, eating, going to bed, going back to the job, and that's it. Now, some of us, our purpose, our vision, is there on the job. We help other people that's in our cubicle. We help other people that come in our path. You know, we can talk to others and encourage others. Some of us, that's where a lot of our purpose is when we go out on the job. But it's more than the job. It's more than a job. Remember, a job gives us finances. It gives us the means to live, right? It gives us the money that we need for everyday living, and that's what the job do. But the works that we do, the work that God give you. You remember how Jesus said, "I do the work of my Father to let others know of my Father's kingdom." I do the works of God, of my Father. That's what we're here to do the works of our Father, to let others know about the kingdom of God, to show others, to encourage others, to teach others. You know, It could be something that you have gone through or that you have dealt with. It could have been something that God has brought you through, or somebody else mentored you or helped you or encouraged you to help you to get through. You don't just stop there and it's all about you and it's about how you got through, but you go and you help the next person. You help the next man. I constantly think about, how we look at and we can and look in family history and we can talk about generational curses. Well, grandpa used to be an alcoholic. Well, his great great grandpa used to be an alcoholic. And it goes down to a line of people. But I constantly think of a test that we may be going through in our lives, in the different lines of a family lineage. Maybe they didn't pass the test here, or and it came down to this lineage, and maybe this one we're learning something and we still didn't pass it. Then it goes to the next one. So I constantly think about each each lineage it goes through. Each one, wherever it started, from the great grandparents on down to you, it had to be something that we need to understand and need to learn and need to change. We may have to be the change in that lineage. We may be the one that make the change. And I want to talk about how I just was listening to Dr. Monroe. I've been listening to the different things that he's been saying, and it's really been helping me to see just who I am and the purpose that God has for me. See, I like now, I like teaching. I like, well, should I say, I like just sharing and talking about the goodness of God. I like sharing the word. I don't know the word from A to Z. I don't. I'm not a Bible scholar, but what I do know and do get an understanding of, I really enjoy sharing it with others. And so, you know, God gives us the desires of our heart. He said it's in His Word, it's in Proverbs. God gives us the desires of our heart if we delight ourselves in Him. And I've changed my life around. I've turned some things around where I want to displease God. I'm tired of trying to please this one and that one. You know, it hasn't got me anywhere. So when something is not working for you, the best thing to do is try to change it and get to the thing that will be working for you. So what's working for me is when I turn my life to God and I can see a difference. I'm not perfect. I keep telling you guys that. I know people find fault and they see things. They want to they make assumptions, I should say, about you. But I know who I am. And I want to continue each day to learn a little bit more of who I am. And I want you to do the same as well. I got on here today to just say that as I'm learning, as I'm reading, as I'm researching, as I'm getting more into into the word, into to more positive teaching. I watch TV, don't get me wrong. I get into TV, I do different things, but I'm trying now to learn how to read more inspirational books, to get more into reading, um, more into listening to positive things. And I'm trying to feed my brains, feed my spirit with things of such, rather than we have so much negative stuff in the world today. All that stuff can be overpowering to you. So I feed myself with bigger, with greater things that's going to help me to grow, help me to become better, help me to understand life better, and give me more joy and peace. And that's just me. And I encourage you to do this as well, because it really does take away some of the hassle and the bustle that you be going through the day. But as I've been reading and understanding more and having, I consider Dr. Monroe as my mentor. He might not be here, as I say, he was killed in a plane crash. I think it was in 2014, but his legacy still goes on. It's still building. It's still growing. And think of other people. Maya Angelou, she still has things and still words that instills in your heart and your spirit, that you can, and still you can still share with others, and things that'll help you and to grow and to build. That's where we need to be. We might not be another Maya Angelou. We might not be another uh, Miles Monroe, but I'm a Martha, and you are whoever you are. You are, and whatever we have, we can leave it as a legacy. When we pass, when we go on to glory, when we leave, when we lay down and close our eyes and go to sleep in death, you know, what are we leaving? Will people just forget about us? Forget we was here? But what can they remember? Can your kids remember you sitting down talking to them and explaining different things and listening to them and telling them, not so much of don't do this and don't do that, or do as I say, but to be truthful with them. And I wasn't always right. I'm still not always right. I'm learning every day. Being truthful. And those things stick with the children. Those things, they continue to be guided with. So are we leaving something of that sort? Are we talking to other people that we're around, teaching them or influencing them in the right way, talking to them, listening to them, and letting them know that you haven't always been where you've been. A lot of us don't want to tell that story. We don't want others to know that we have messed up. We just want everybody to know it's all good, you know. But it's okay. It's okay to share our story. And I guess you're wondering where I'm going with this. It's just I wanted you all to see, and I want you to hear this, to do what God has put before you to do. If it's for you to write a book, start writing that book. The cemetery has so many people that didn't get to do the things that was put before them to do. Why? Some had fear. Some just thought they couldn't. They didn't think they was good enough. But I'm here to tell you, as I speak to you, I speak to myself, whatever it is, we need to move forward in what God has put before us to do. Write the book, sing the song. If you're a good singer and you know in your heart of heart you're supposed to be making a song or something, don't worry about it, what everybody else say. Find somebody, and God will place somebody in your path that understand your vision and that want to help you to get where you are. That's the person that you latch on to. Don't latch on to these people that I'm fencing to. You should have. I don't think you should. You're not good enough to do that. You're not smart enough. Do you know some people have parents that tell us, I don't think you should do that because you're not smart enough for that. You're not pretty enough for that. You may not be strong enough for that because, people are cruel. So, just take it easy. Don't worry about it. Just go with the flow. And we miss out on our true purpose and our destiny. And then a lot of times we're trying to run the race of everybody else. We see what everybody else is doing. We're looking to the left, looking to the right, seeing how they're doing things. And then we try to do it. It may not be that it's for you to write a book. It may not be for you to start your own business. But you see somebody else doing it, it looks good, you want to try it, and you get frustrated. You're ready to give up. Things are just not coming out, turning out as the way you thought it should be. Why? Because the grace of God is not in it. What God has for you, He'll give you the grace to do it. Now, my thing, I'm going to share this with you. Most of the people that I'm around, they don't get on cameras. I didn't get on nobody's camera. I'm surprised I'm here talking to you today. But a lot of people don't get on cameras, and don't get on YouTube. The ones, I'm just talking about my box that I'm in. You got to get out the box a little bit. The people around, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't do it, it's just not you. But I know what God has placed on my heart to do, to share. And so I would look around and say, well, they're not doing it. They're not listening. Some people would say, older people don't do that because they don't get on there to listen. And so I didn't do it. I would back off a little bit. Because nobody else was doing. You can't run the race looking at what everybody else doing. You have to run your own race. And rather it's somebody in your circle that's going to be watching you and listening to you, or it's somebody out there that needs to hear it. If you do, you run your race as God has put before you. That's all that He wants you to do. He'll give you the grace. He'll give you everything else you need to help it to continue, to keep it going. I just learned a lesson from that. I can't look to the left, to the right, what everybody's doing. I can't do that. And sometimes it's hard because the ones on the left, the ones on the right, the ones in your ear telling you, don't do it, shouldn't do it. But if it's here in your heart and you know it, I'm telling y'all to do it. God will give you the grace to do it. I constantly was wondering, God, why you have me on a podcast? I love roundtable discussions. I love the talking with the women and uh, studying with the women, having a discussion with the women, biblical studies. I love that. But if the women didn't come on the line on Saturday mornings, if my family, the family meets on Thursday nights on Zoom. If they didn't come on Thursday nights, what would I do? If people didn't show up when God gave you something to do, what would you do? Would you give up and stop? Many people would. I would have in the beginning, because a lot of times when I started the sisterhood ministry, I got all kind of flack. Sometimes people wouldn't show up, and I would be just devastated. Why nobody wouldn't be on the line? I would cry. When people said different things about me, it made me feel so bad. See that insecurity. God was breaking all this insecurity up. He's molding and shaping me. And does that help? Does it feel good? No. So it's not going to be easy. People can see your glory, but they don't know the story. But I thought about the more I got down the line where I am today. If they didn't show up, what would I do? Well, That's where this podcast comes in. That's where uh, this YouTube channel, all this comes in. Get on there and keep going. Keep talking. Keep it going. Saturday morning got a conference call line. If nobody on there, and I know this is from God, and I know this is what He asked me for me to do, I have to continue on. So that's the same thing for you. Building your business, you feel like nobody's there for you, just keep going. Type up something, send some letters, whatever it takes for you to just keep going. Just keep going. Cry a little, wipe your tears, wipe the snot, whatever it takes, and keep going. Keep going. God will give you the grace. He'll give you the grace to do what you need to do. So let's think about today. My main thing here was, what are you going to be leaving behind? What type of legacy? If you was to close your eyes today or tomorrow, would your vision continue on? Would your legacy continue on? Who are you grooming? Who are you grooming, or who are you influencing or teaching to help them keep your vision going? Or will it stop when you stop? Something to think about. So now I continue with these videos, audios, and I pray to God that either out of the family group, out of the sisterhood group, or whoever, my granddaughters, my grandson, whoever it may be somebody I don't even know. Just like I didn't know Dr. Monroe, but I am touched by his teaching, and I plan to continue to share his word and to share the word of God that I get from him, and to share it with others. Because a lot of times, I was worried about, if I share this, somebody maybe done heard it, or they heard him say it. God has put me in this part where I am, this community, this place, family, women, where I can share what I get. And that's for you too. Wherever you are, just share what God has given you. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. So again, what legacy are you leaving? If you was to close your eyes today or tomorrow, will your vision continue on? Continue to run your race. Stay in your lane. And know that God will give you the grace to continue on. I love you all. Be blessed, and remember to be a blessing. Have a great day.